Kia ora, good morning. This is my morning ramble for the day. Today is Saturday the 8th of April 2023, and I thought I'd just do a bit of a walk around just to show what we've been doing. Some of this is from the video that Dawn posted on taking down the tricky twisty tree. And also it's a bad hair day, you really don't need to see that. So, well, every day's a bad hair day, but some are worse than others. So today you get a disembodied voice. That might be a nice change of pace, pretty sure. This is the tree that we took down. It's pretty hollow, that's all I can say. So probably got a little bit lucky there. I'm kind of thinking my original plan, which was to take it higher up the trunk, may have been the right way to do it, but honestly I don't know. And so we got the cut in, and it fell right down to where we wanted it to go without any issues at all, and that was honestly very surprising. We really thought it would drift kind of over a little bit that way at least, but it didn't. So this is in the throes of getting cut up. We're making raised bed gardens, so some of these log sections are pretty much going to form the frames for that, and then we'll do any necessary filling in with straw bales and what have you as we go from there. We've had quite a bit of rain, and that's pretty much dried up now as well. This was all filled with water. And you can see we've got quite a few blockages, particularly up over there, that I'm probably going to come in and do a little bit of clearing. I just want the water channels to be uninhibited so we don't get quite so much pooling. One thing I really did notice is that particularly around here, the water comes down off the hill and then it just kind of collects down at the bottom base of the hill, because it has no way of getting to the creek easily until it reaches saturation. So again, a little bit of work, or maybe a little bit of guidance required for that. But you can see there's a bit of green starting to poke through, or a lot of green starting to poke through, and this has really pushed up in the last couple of weeks. It was really not here that long ago. So yeah, this was the major project, I guess, and we're just in the throes of just taking our time and just picking away at stuff. And these piles here, some of the straighter sections will get stripped, and we'll probably just cut those up and put them aside, see if we can find uses for straighter lengths. But honestly, the bulk of this and these piles here are going to end up in the chipper shredder to be chipper shredded. But this is the clearing all the way down to the creek, and this is where our raised bed gardens are planning on going. So we've got much more light around here coming in, and that though it's kind of hard to see here, as these leaves break down some more, we'll see a lot more grasses and sort of forest foliage basically start to pretty much erupt out of the ground. The dogs rip through here, they drive all the leaves up into the air and pretty much do what livestock do, which is root around. Not as effectively, but you can see where the dogs have been, and things are starting to take off. So yeah, there is that. And we're sure I've got some shaky cam, or that's not what that is. Something on my foot. So moving up the way, more piles. I had a friend over who insisted on getting into our wood, our timber fall, and making some progress on that. So there's chunks of log there that I need to get a log arch, and so I can actually start moving those. we don't have a tractor or anything that can really pull those effectively, and they are heavy as all get out, quote unquote. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. Up there is where I have the panels. It's really very temporary, but they're really pumping out the power, so I'm just leaving them there for now. I'm in the throes of trying to source some uni-strut, or super strut is also known as, see if I can get some cheap offcuts, or used struts that I can cut with a Dremel and basically shape to my requirements. We've got a lot of panels to mount, and really and we're only mounting them temporarily for now because this is where our home site's going to be. So bottom line there is we're going to be using timber excuse me, froggy throat, going to be using some timber and uni-strut to basically just put those up and mount them off the ground, because I have 8 more of those to put in, and then 4 more of these to get to our full config. But I may need to get a second inverter. We'll have to see. If I get a second inverter, I might actually end up getting a few more panels if I can source them. So here, these piles here are just all the saplings that grow between the froggy throat again, grow between the trees. And I'm just in the process of thinning those out. We have hybrid willows and hybrid poplars to plant. And I kind of feel torn because I like trees, and I like having all this growth, but here's the reality is that we need to reclaim some of the land for conversion to pasture. We've identified that while we may not be able to get sheep as early as we would like them right now, at least, some of this is also learning how to clear these areas and then having a look at the progress to see what actually happens on the forest floor by way of grasses and stuff coming up, so that we can create pastures but still retain select trees that we want to keep. But also by removing these saplings, there's less competition for the larger trees. They don't really need to kind of compete for nutrients, and it lets more light down onto the ground, which again stimulates growth. So it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. We're not going to sit here and strip 16 acres of all the saplings. This is stupid. But where we want to actually plant new trees for food trees, for making biochar and other things, then this is where it's going to happen. It's close to the RV as it stands, and on our original designs, actually a little bit further up here is where things were going to get planted, because it's close to where the home site is, and this was all to become terraced gardens and food forest kind of stuff. So yeah, unfortunately all these saplings that you can see here are pretty much going to get repurposed, taken down and repurposed, and this will just be opened up with just the larger trees standing. And even then, some of these trees may have to come down, well, will have to come down, because we have these ones here which we're not allowed to cut. They're over a certain size, and we need to respect that, and without permission. And the others, we want to try and keep roughly a 10-foot radius, 10 to 15-foot radius around these larger trees, so that we can kind of keep that competition down for them. So while the saplings will come out, unless there's any key ones that we decide we want to keep, some of these other smaller trees are going to come down as well. So that practice with a chainsaw and guidance and direction will be part of the process. I think that's a hickory there. There might be another shagbark by the looks of it. Trying to learn to identify trees, and I am really a noob. So this might be a shagbark because it's got this loose bark here, but yeah, I can't say for sure, but it certainly looks like it might be a shagbark hickory. So yeah, a friend of ours mentioned that he has a chef friend who does all of his meat smoking with shagbark hickory bark, because it has a unique flavour when used for smoking curing meats. So I guess that applies to cheeses and other things as well. Anywho, and other trees that will come out will be, you know, ones that are obviously rotten, diseased, leaning badly, all that stuff. So anyways, a little bit of a rambly catch up on the property, I guess. Trying not to make too many of these, because, you know, the changes are small and iterative, so it's kind of hard to see the wood for the trees, ho ho ho. But there is stuff happening, and we are just chipping away. So yeah, that's my ramble for today. I'll see if I can make a few more of these a little more frequently, and go on other topics other than, you know, what's been happening on the homestead, because Dawn really kind of covers that pretty well. But yeah, this is all going to burst into green life, far more than this, and, you know, unless I start clearing this out now, it's going to get really hard, because, well, you may not think it, this actually gets pretty dense to bash through, and you would have seen that on some of my very early videos where we came down and it was, you know, everything was in full foliage, and, you know, there's orb spider webs and tree branches and leaves and blah 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 everywhere. So access is kind of a thing. Alright, take care. I hope you all have a great day. Chat again soon. Bye.